Papa Tom's Cars, a book for Tristan, age 8, fall 2014. 1959 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 1. Papa Tom has owned this car since 1989. How many years is that? For many years it was his only car, so he rode his Harley to work. Rolls-Royce cars cost a lot. When this car was new, it cost more than most houses. The car gets invites to car shows. Here we see it at the Del Mar Concourse. Tom once drove the Silver Cloud all the way to New Orleans and back for a Rolls-Royce club meet. It was over 3,600 miles. That's a long way for a car that was 50 years old at the time. The cars were shown in the Superdome. Tom's car is the second car from the right. Car clubs have magazines. For the Rolls-Royce Club Flying Lady, Tom wrote a note about what you see under a Silver Cloud. He made this image by fitting 5 or 6 shots into one. Do you see where? "1947 Lincoln Continental Cabriolet. Tom's Lincoln has only 18,000 miles on it. That's very small for a car that's 67 years old. It has the old paint it first came with. It's the same for the leather. The V12 engine is the one that came in the car when it was new. People who collect cars are starting to value cars like this over ones that have been restored. This kind of car was famous for the handsome way the spare tire was mounted on the back. People liked it so much they made Continental kits for other cars to do the same. The dash is very pretty. The style is called Art Deco. Really, the style for the whole car is Art Deco. All the gauges work. In fact, everything on the car works except the old style tube radio. 1974 Jaguar E-Type OTS. OTS stands for Open Two-Seater. Many people say this is the most beautiful car ever made. One was Enzo Ferrari, who also made sports cars in Italy. Due to its smooth shape and the V12 engine, it has a top speed of 150 miles per hour. This car was known as an E-Type mostly in Europe and as an XKE mostly in the USA. This caused some people to ignore this car on eBay, and Tom was able to buy it for a very low price for this kind of car in such good shape. It is now worth the most of all his cars. The San Diego Jaguar Club has a meet each year called the Concourse, where cars are judged and win prizes if they meet high standards. This meet was at Spanish Landing across the street from the airport. 1947 MGTC. Soldiers who were stationed in Europe during World War II got a taste of their small cars that were lots of fun to drive. Some imported cars, such as the MGTC and sports cars, got their start in the USA. There would be no Corvette without first having the MGTC to start things off. All MGTCs have right-hand drive because in England and some other countries, people drive on the left and the driver needs to be near the center of the road. They feel we drive on the wrong side and we feel the same way about them. The MGTC has a very simple design. Tristan already learned how the brakes work by both getting under the car and helping remove and replace a wheel and a brake drum. Soon he will learn how to work on the engine. 1985 Rolls-Royce Corniche drop dead. Even though the people in England speak English, they have different words for some things. What they call a drop dead, we call a convertible. All Rolls-Royces have a front grille shaped like a house. On top is a little statue we call the Flying Lady. Tom and his friends in the Rolls-Royce Club have meets where they drive to see sights and have meals. Old cars sometimes need fixing up. Tom is having the seats in the Corniche re-dyed to correct tiny flaws like those in the brown piping. 2006 Jaguar X-Type. Before 2000, Jaguar cars broke down a lot. Ford was able to buy Jaguar and make changes to improve the cars. The Jaguar X-Type, like other newer Jaguars, does not break down much at all. Tom uses the X-Type as his daily driver. The X-Type was shown in a concourse where it scored 99.74 out of a possible 100 points. Even with over 65,000 miles, the car looked brand new. The X-Type may well be the car where Tristan learns to drive in a few years. It has all-wheel drive, a 3-liter V6, and a 5-speed with overdrive. 1975 Mini. Tom learned to drive in his father's Mini in 1965, so it was natural for him to get his own Mini years later. This one has many upgrades from a 1995 Mini built by Rover. The Mini is a very small car on the outside, but big on the inside. It had a low price, and millions were built from 1960 to 2000. His Mini came from New Zealand. The Mini was the first mass-produced car with many traits that are common on cars today. Some are shown in this drawing with cutouts to show what's inside. These include disc brakes, sideways engine, front-wheel drive, and unit body. The body is the frame. 1985 Southwind RV. While not strictly a car, it's based on a Chevy that is. Someday Tom and Tristan will go on a trip in the RV. Tom and his greyhound Lily sleep in the back of the RV when they stay over at his shop where the RV is stored. Someday. Tom's dream car is a 1937 Cord 812 Phaeton. His parents had one of these when they got married in 1939. The first sentence Tom ever said was, "A tree fell on the car." The Cord was sold for $250 after that mishap. He hopes to own one someday, but they cost a lot, almost as much as all his other cars added up.